Hello, welcome everybody. Fabulous to see you here, everybody in the chat. Hello to you. Special hello to all the members there. Thank you so much for being here too and your support. My fabulous mods. I think we got Nancy here today. My Tony may or may not be jumping in because he is on an important mission right now, and that's making a papalette. He's so good at it. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where I recap the Scientology news that has the internet buzzing and share about my 35 years in Scientology, in this organization, and how I left with 3 generations of my family. We are still in Chicago, so that's why I still have this background here. We are going to be heading back to the Twin Cities, back to Minnesota today, which means another road trip, which means probably another sing along on the road live stream. So if you're into that, and I'm also going to break down more talking about our trip in the last couple of days. I don't want to do this on this because I want to do the recap, but I'll probably get on later and do a live stream when we are on our way back and share some things that happen with all of you. So hopefully you can catch that later. If not, catch it on the replay. We have, as per usual, lots to talk about. There are more people coming back and new people on the protesting scene in SPTV. There is a theme, people. The theme today is Scientology lies, because video after video, so many things that I looked at and was sent, there's a clear theme: Scientology lies. And it's being exposed in real time on the internet through the help of so many fabulous people. And I'm just absolutely here for all of it. We're going to cover some of that. First, we are going to jump over to the Daily News. The Daily News put out an article. You can see it here. Church of Scientology sparks backlash in Chicago with new Ideal branch offering students at nearby Columbia College spiritual counseling. That's kind of a scary thought, isn't it? I mean, knowing what we know. We're going to look at a little bit of this. The Church of Scientology of Chicago hosted its grand opening ceremony of its new Ideal branch, blocking access an entire block in South Loop on Sunday. Students at Columbia College, which has a residential hall next door, have expressed their concern as the church offers students spiritual counseling. The Church of Scientology has attracted renewed criticism following the conviction of former celebrity Danny Masterson. It is interesting right off the bat to me that they get right into how, one, that they blocked everything, but how the students are questioning. And we saw that firsthand. Even when we weren't live streaming, we came across multiple students who were very concerned about Scientology infiltrating their campus, concerned about their safety based on what they heard from other members. And the article kind of gets into that. The Church of Scientology has incurred the wrath of locals and university students after shutting down an entire city block to open its new Ideal branch in Chicago. The grand opening ceremony in South Loop saw followers block access to an entire block of South Clark Street on Sunday. And that is true. It was the members themselves, Scientologists, who were blocking access. While before that Windy City ribbon comes cascading down, this is also the moment to recognize what you already know. How just as Chicago was once reborn, so today there is room for a new beginning. Okay, this is a quote from David Miscavige right there. No wonder it was like word salad. When I started reading this, I'm like, this just does not roll. And I love this. This is how they quote him. Controversial leader David Miscavige told the crowd outside the brick building of 650 South Clark Street. And he goes on with more word salad. And thus, room for restoring to individuals the ability to have a better life in their own estimation and with their fellows, and the playing of a better game, he said at the building's opening. The opening sparked backlash from some students at Columbia College, which has a residential hall next to the new building. Then here's some photos. I think if you look close on one of these balconies, you can actually see Leah and Danny. These performers, we saw some videos of them coming in and out. Devin, let's see, I'm totally gonna butcher this name, so We'll just say Devin. Devin, a freshman, told the Chicago Tribune the location may attract young students to the church, which is disturbing. The first week of school in September, when we got here, they did have all these tables set up in front of our dorm with free stress testing, and they were auditing for students, which was always kind of weird, she explained. When they first started setting up on Saturday, they had all these tables set up again where it was like, "Hey, Columbia, like, thank you for being our new neighbors." They were giving out free donuts and stuff, and it was just a weird taste in my mouth about it. It's very obvious they were what they were trying to do, she added. Rosen Darby, a sophomore at Columbia, told the Tribune the grand opening was entirely disrespectful to the residents. Not only were we as students blocked from our building, having to sometimes physically push past people, but most every business on our street had to close that day, Darby said. Columbia College Chicago is committed to working with the Church of Scientology as a neighbor, spokesperson for the college, Jacqueline Partridge said. Our team plans to meet with representatives in the upcoming weeks. And then there's some pictures of the new ideal organization in there. Chicago City Councilman Alderman Bill Ward told the Tribune his office had received a few dozen complaints following Sunday's events. Conway told the publication that he spoke with church leaders and told them future permits will face significant scrutiny based of these complaints. I feel like that should be based on these complaints, but okay. But isn't that interesting? Now they're going to face significant scrutiny, and they better too. They better. Chicago, you got to hold them to this. They were saying this was our grand opening. We don't really plan any more of there. So it was kind of a one-time event, he said, adding, we're going to do everything we can to make sure the community maintains access to everything and everybody is safe. It's so you see again where Scientology is just like, they'll just go, they get, why do you even get the permit? You violate the permit, you block people, they can't get by, you irritate your neighbors. You put out recruitment tables in front of a college. I mean, it's so predatory. And then, of course, they go into the whole Danny Masterson thing too, because if you're talking about Scientology, you're pretty much talking about that too. So there is a little more to that article. You can read the whole thing. But I was like, ooh, this is great because, again, they're pointing out what happened. These permits were gotten. They were not followed. Students were blocked. Altercations happened. A lot of things happened. And we're going to be hearing more and more that's going to continue to come out. I think it's interesting as well what the media grabs onto, right? It's if blocking the pathways is what gets their attention and what raises the upset with the students, bring it on. And then let's throw in and educate them on why Scientology is a human trafficking cult. Bad Thetan, hip hip hooray. Thank you for becoming a new member. Appreciate that very much. So there's links down below to that article so you can read it in full, and also to the different links to the different videos that we're going to talk about. And we had somebody return to SPTV who I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet because I came on after he had taken a break from YouTube. But I have a clip of a video multiple people sent to me, and I watched the video. It was just great. I don't know DENVERSTEVEO. I would like to get to know him. I thought it was great. We're just going to share a clip and then chat about it a little bit.
The 40 and 50-year-olds, the Gen Xers in this group. What happens when we hit 60, 65, 70, and we're not as able to be as active in the protests as we are today? What happens when the second gens, when things happen in their lives, right? It could be one of many things. But when they kind of start moving away from this whole thing that we're in, I know it's today it's easy to say that's not going to happen. We will.
It's so great. He's talking about how this next generation is coming up, and we've talked about this a lot on the channel as well, especially the people who have never been in Scientology. That is the turning point in my mind, in my opinion, of the difference between shutting Scientology down and not. All these years, so many have come before us who have shared, who have been harassed, who have done so much. But having all of you who've never been in Scientology, having the backs of so many people who are exposing and sharing their stories, and you guys are continuing to do that and amplify that message, that's what's going to get it done. That is the missing secret sauce that we haven't had, in my opinion. I think it completely is. We need the numbers, the help, the perspective of people who've never been in Scientology as well. You guys hear me say it all the time, and I'm going to keep saying it. So much of my healing and has come through my connection to people never in Scientology who can look at it and call it out for what it is. So I appreciate that. We need more of that. Another thing that we need more of, we need more KELLI COPTER and MARILYN HONIG. They did a video together that was so great. You got to go watch the whole thing. I'm just sharing just a tiny snippet. You got to see the whole thing. They did a reaction video. Is it a cult? Reacting to this creepy short film, Mind Control Made Easy. It's hilarious and scary. You're all over. You're all over with the emotions. It's fantastic. Let's share a little clip.
This video, it's all about all different little cults are like, oh my god, this is about my group, you know, like Jehovah's Witnesses are like, this is about me, and Scientologists are like, this is about us, when actually it's about all of them, because all these cults run exactly the same. Anyway, let's carry on with our good mate here. You guys. This.
So they go on and react to this video and call out the parallels. And it's so true. Scientology is one cult of many, and the playbook is often the same, right? The things they do, the way they follow. There's been spin-off cults from Scientology all over the place. The creator of Nexium studied Scientology and used some of the tactics and even how you buy things in 12.5-hour intensives, as they're called in Scientology. There's a playbook, and that was fabulous. It was a real eye-opener. Because you'll hear me often bring up, I feel like everybody, for the most part, there's always exceptions, but most people will experience a cult. It may not be an organized cult like Scientology, but some type of high control group. Maybe it's a cult of two, right? Anytime your free will is being subverted and you lose that ability to make your own decisions and live your own life, you got to take a look and go, could it be a cult? So it's really, it's disturbing and funny at the same time, which I admit, I love that. I love that. If you can throw in a little fear as well, I'm good. So I love that they did that. I also love that. Did you guys catch D.O.A. Scotty at the Oscars? Scotty went to the Oscars. That's what we should have called this. Scotty went to the Oscars, and he was there protesting, and it was great. He a couple things happened. I think I only have I'm going to share a clip of him protesting at the Oscars, but he also ran into Patrick Perry, the guy who assaulted Aaron when he was there, and other people. His dog bit. His dog bit Chris Without a Hellcat and attacked other people as well. And he ran into him on the sidewalk and had a little, I mean, really, he walked by, then Patrick turned around and yelled something and pointed his cane in a threatening manner. And, D.O.A. was just doing his thing, keeping about his business. But this is him actually protesting out at the Oscars. Take a look.
Scientology's a call! 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 Tom Cruise is a child trafficker! Scientology's a call! Scientology's a call! Scientology's a
Just hilarious. I love it. At the Oscars, you never know where he's going to pop up. Where's D.O.A. going to pop up next? I love that he goes and does those things. That was so great. So great. Okay. Another thing that we came across that people sent in, and I was so happy because I thought this was so hilarious and fabulous at the same time, which again, those are my favorite things. It is let's see. It's from Reenactment with Dolls 9988, Defender of Ants Swatted. I didn't even know that this existed. And frankly, I'm like surprised. How did I not know this existed? It's a channel where they reenact things using dolls, and they reenacted Scotty D.O.A. being swatted the other day with Lara FM in there as well. So we're going to take a look at this, and then we're going to talk about it.
Hey, D.O.A., are you in there?
Yeah, come on in, Laura.
Hurry up and drink your coffee. We need to get busy protesting.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pop a squat and take it easy today. I'm just gonna read out the questionnaire.
Okay, I'll be back later.
Okay, question number 7. Do you believe in corporal punishment? I mean, capital, corporal? Oh, shit. Do you have any weapons?
What the hell do you think you're doing? Get away from my friend.
Get up. Looks like you've been swatted again.
I just love it so much. Isn't it? I thought it was just great. I'm like, that's so talented. I love the creative ways that people come up with to communicate and to make points and to share things or to protest, whether it's reenacting things with dolls or chalk art outside La Poubelle. There's just so many ways to do it. So many ways. I know. I loved it too. I absolutely loved it. I'll admit it. I watched it a few times. It was just great. Marilyn, great to see you there. I hope we just shared a clip of that wonderful video you did with Kelly Copter. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. We need to catch up, by the way. Yeah, right? Bakes with butter. It was just hilarious. I thought it was just hilarious. All right. Moving along. Scientology audit, Streets LA. He shares why he did not throw a punch the other night when he was assaulted, and he is there filing police reports, which he does so well and has educated so many people on how to do this and that you should do it because law enforcement should be held accountable when they break the rules.
Exactly. They had me locked up for conspiracy. It was stressful to watch. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't stressful for me. I love this shit. Yeah, I mean, listen, they wanted me. If I had thrown one punch, I'd be arrested. Period. We all know that. If I had thrown one punch, and honestly, I knew for a fact the guy was a lightweight. If I hit with my left hand, I felt like I could knock him out with one punch. But I'm like, if I throw one punch, I just got to take. I will take the punches in the face. It's worth it. How's it going? Need to file complaints. All right. Yeah, I'm filing a bunch of them. Multiple complaints. So the first one's going to be for refusal to take a PPA.
So then he goes on to file the complaints, which is fantastic. That guy's going to need more paper. I looked at the size of that paper pad and I'm like, no, you're going to need more paper. It's a lot of complaints. A lot happened. But glad that he was there. And he's right. He's right. If he would have thrown a punch, he'd have been arrested. And yeah, just love his attitude about it. Now we're going to take a look at a clip that we shared yesterday of Hollywood Aja. This is the incident that led up to Danny being arrested. And well, I'm just going to show the clip. It shows an older man blocking the sidewalk. You guys saw this yesterday, but we're going to look at it again because I'm going to share a connection that literally Michael brought up. So watch this.
Guys, as you can see, we were walking on the sidewalk and this old man Scientology member came outside to antagonize us. Danny asked him to please let us walk through, and he decided to run Danny over right here. And Danny simply defended himself by pushing it away, and he was shaking, and he went back inside Scientology and called the cops.
Yeah, it was a complete, we know it's all BS. So literally Michael pulled up some footage because he's like, wait a minute, that guy looks familiar. I've seen that guy. He's been this guy with a scooter that I've not seen him ride it. I've seen him in multiple streams, just pushing it along. And I think it's safe to speculate to do something like this, what he did, looking for that opportunity to cause an incident that he can then report to the police something false and have a protester arrested. So this is from literally Michael that he shares. Link down below to his full video, which you should check out. Take a little look and a listen. Let's get this up here. Hold on. He sees the guy, has an interaction with him. It's like, yep, it's all this coming. Check it out.
A real job. Do you have a real job? Is this your real job on the scooter? Yeah, see, he's the plan. You see that?
You see him? The guy, it is the same guy. You can see it clear in a couple other shots. I think he even has the scooter with him.
He's the plan. He's photographing. You know, you're just as guilty as they are. Locking up the kids, molesting the kids. Do you realize that? Your name's going to be on a file one day, in a suit one day, because you're sitting here supporting them. Yes. Yes, film me all you want. Film me all you want. You see that?
It's like the guy's just lurking in the shadows, waiting for his opportunity. And like many are pointing out in the chat, yeah, what's the scooter for? Kind of like Patrick Perry's cane, which he has used to assault people. And we just saw that happen with the guy with the scooter when he went after Danny. And now Danny's sitting in jail for what? Then this is continuing to happen, and it's caught on video time after time after time and shared. At what point, we saw a period recently where it looked like, are we getting a kinder, gentler, more fair LAPD? There were a couple instances where they did take the report, where they did put the person in handcuffs who was actually assaulting a protester, rather than showing up and detaining or arresting the victim, which has happened more times than we can count, but we are counting. Yeah, it's just like, what's up? What's up with that? We're going to take a look now over at Portland.org, which I love that we get videos that people are out there doing their thing in Portland. And this one was kind of cute and funny as well. Take a look.
A free personality test. Let's see if we can get them. Yeah, shut those blinds. Shut them real quick. Don't forget these blinds too. You got to get these blinds too. Yeah, get these blinds. Nicole, get these blinds. You forgot these blinds. Now let's go over here. Let's get these blinds too. We wouldn't want the public to think that you're fucking open or anything. Yeah, let's go. These blinds, you gotta get these blinds. Yep. The free personality.
They are pretty quick to pull the blinds in Portland. I think that hey, Carrie Ann got them trained. As soon as you show up, boom, they're going to be pulling those blinds. Chelsea, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you so much. Hip hip hooray. Thank you for that. I just love that. Now, over in Seattle, not far from Portland, right? I could not believe this when I saw it. I had to watch it a couple times because it's kind of hard to see, and the orientation is the wrong way, but this is worth a watch. And I do believe he's new too. So Moose on the Loose 38, he encounters a Scientology staff member who flashes a knife at him. That's a bit of a new tactic, is it? It is. So let's take a look at that. And he caught it on video and shared it. It's just the orientation is wrong, but you'll be able to, I think he changes it possibly at one point. But give this a little look and a listen.
Washington State. Oh, here we go. Are you going to smoke a cigarette? How you doing? Knife. Pulled out a knife. To make sure I know he has a knife. Do you have family that you haven't talked to that you want to talk to?
Hold out the camera.
Yeah, you see that there. I could not believe that. I could believe it, and I couldn't believe it. All right, where is hold on. Let's shut this off. It's so great too because he says, "What do you believe? I thought it was communication." And it's just with the camera after he whips out and twirls the knife around a little bit and puts it back in his pocket. Yeah, exactly, B. Totally normal. Totally normal. It's a church, not a cult. This is not a cult. We're not holding anybody here. Oh, Lori plays. Good point. I thought that too. I was like, oh, come on, man. You guys are an ideal organization there in Seattle. Up your game. Where's all that money going? For the International Association of Scientologists, for the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, all these other things that they fund, but not taking care of the staff. Put them in these big, beautiful buildings that were purchased on the backs of parishioners who gave over their kids' college funds, maxed out their credit cards, refinanced their own homes to do this because they believed so much that it was going to help people in their community. And it didn't, and it's not. And they believe it is because of the propaganda they're being showed at these Scientology events, which there's one coming up. L. Ron Hubbard's birthday is this week, March 13th. So there will be an event coming up where they celebrate that. And that is one of their biggest propaganda events where they're going to share footage from the Chicago opening, Austin, and other things that give the appearance that Scientology is expanding. Yep, Mar, you're right. Held that phone up like he was looking through a peephole. He was probably blocking his face too, I would imagine. Let's jump over to Denver and go take a look at Jay. Denver Scientology audit. Jay's doing a great job out there, and he was educating somebody on the elder abuse that happens in the Sea organization. Jay's a wealth of knowledge on what the abuses have been and are in Scientology. And I love that he takes the time to educate people and bring it up. Because trust me when I tell you, as someone who was in Scientology for 35 years, some of these things they land differently depending on what your personal kind of buttons are, right? It's gets communicated differently to different people. Take a look and a listen.
Article about Scientology. Maybe looking up the elderly abuse that goes on in the Sea organization. Do you understand that elderly members in the Sea Org they're denied medical care in some instances? How is Scientology going to clear the planet if y'all can't even talk to one SP?
Right there is such a great point. How are you going to clear the planet if you can't talk to one suppressive person? That is a big thing in Scientology. It's really promoted early on when you start in Scientology that it can help you improve communication. But the further you go, the further really your communication becomes limited because your world becomes smaller because they want you to be surrounded by Scientologists. So you're in this echo chamber where you're all not allowed to talk about Scientology in any negative way. You're not allowed to express your doubts about Scientology. That is a suppressive act in Scientology. To tell people that you want to leave or that you are leaving will get you declared a suppressive person. But no, that's not culty at all. No, it's not. They just keep at it. Okay, over in Chicago, more Scientology lies. There were protesters out there yesterday. The police came a couple of times. And at one point, an officer came out and is like, okay, there's like this 50-foot rule where you can't protest between the building and 50 foot there. And the protesters pointed out, wait a minute, that's the street. That's in the street. What are you talking about? And Lori, if you're still here, Lori Plays was in the chat and was letting she's former law enforcement, and she was letting the protesters know that's total BS. Here's what you need to do. And when my Tony and I were there, same thing. They called the police 2 times. One time they just watched. And then, I gave a little wave because I'm friendly as all get out. And they waved and smiled and drove off. Next time officer came, went inside for quite a long time. I thought he was investigating the theft of my donuts. Somebody nicely sent some donuts for me and the other protesters. They mistakenly were delivered to Scientology and they kept them. Kept them. My donuts are probably now somewhere with D.O.A socks. They're gone. But I do appreciate the thought that someone did that. Hey, Lori. Okay, so in fact, Lori, I'm going to send you a link because I've got a couple more things to get through, but I want to, if you can, even if it's just audio, but if you're good getting on video, I'm popping a link into the chat for you, Lori, to pop into the green room and join. So in Chicago, when Tony and I were there protesting, he comes out then from Scientology and basically says, hey, I looked at all the footage they wanted to show me. I observed you earlier when I was here before, and you're not doing anything wrong. You're well within your right to be here protesting. Just don't block the sidewalk. Don't block the entrance. Otherwise, you're good. And I told them that. So another day, another cop, different rules. What it sounds like is Scientology told the other officer, there's a city ordinance where you have to be 50 feet from the front door. And it was all BS. But here's the beauty of it. The protesters caught that on camera. And the other good thing, I'm going to give props to the officer who did go to look it up. He was the one spewing the BS about the 50-foot rule. And he did admit that he was wrong. So I think that was nice. You don't often see that, but let's take a look at it. This is a Free Xenu project over in Chicago. Give it a little look and a listen here.
Christina. Sir, you see that right there? That link right there is from your own police department. The ACLU has actually deemed that law unconstitutional. The city owns all the sidewalks and the streets below and the access ways below.
Yeah, you mentioned the sidewalk. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I understand the property line. We weren't going past the property line. I did see two people that are not protesting, but they were taking pictures. They're from the college.
I don't know who, like I said, like
right.
You mentioned, I don't know who they were, if they were with you or not, but they have them on footage in the rear and in the front. So that's why I asked, you guys could be in the sidewalk.
As far as I know, nobody that was protesting went even in the back or over, because we've all talked about, hey, don't step on their stoop, don't step on their thing. So we know that.
Yeah.
But as far as like having to stay 50 feet away from
I was looking at that. I'm trying to see what they did. And so far, they haven't established just for this. Like that's the Scientology. It doesn't put it to appliance.
Okay, so we don't have to stay. Yep. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it, sir. All right.
That's on my part, my fault.
No, and I appreciate, we all make mistakes, and I appreciate that you actually, said, hey, no, you were wrong on that. That's right, and we will do that. Thank you very much, sir, and you have a good rest of your day.
He even admits that was his bad, that he got that wrong. You shouldn't listen to it's look at the source, man. They say a lot of things. Scientology does say a lot of things to law enforcement and people who show up, and it is not always true. And it's on video. And how many times too, they're like in Chicago, call the police, they're doing this, they're doing that. And then they review the footage and the police are like, no, they're not. Or the police said, I was sitting down the street watching, that did not happen. But they're so convinced of their own narrative inside Scientology that even I'm like, do they believe? Are they just like convincing themselves of what they're seeing? It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah, Christina, I don't know what happened to my donuts. I don't know. I asked the officer when I was there. He did not know anything about it, even though he was in there for a long time. But hey, But it was, like I said, it was great that he went ahead and was able to admit, yeah, I was wrong about that. And you can check. City ordinances are public. You can look it up. Most cities that I've worked with and seen, you can go to their website and get a link to where their actual ordinances are and be familiar. And I think that's a great best practice when you're protesting Scientology or anything for that matter, is to find out what the ordinances are around it in that city, because they can change city to city. They're not always the same. All right, Lori Plays is going to pop in here quick here. Hey, Lori.
Hey, Natalie. Hey, everybody.
I'm glad you were able to pop on. I'm just about to share a link to a video you did with the Nona boss.
Oh, beautiful.
The podcast. I'm going to share a little bit of that. But can you share a little bit about, from your perspective, what happened in Chicago? Because you happened to be in the chat at that time.
Yeah. Freezing Project is a friend of mine. And it's just the ordinance itself just sounded really off to me. And I'm like, Google is always your friend in these situations. So I Googled it. And I found a link to an ACLU article saying that a judge, this was back in 2005, had been reviewing that particular ordinance, oddly enough, after a Scientology protest. And so I copied the ordinance from there, searched it on Chicago's ordinance site, and it said very clearly that ordinance had been repealed. So the judge obviously looked at that and found it to be unconstitutional, violated the rights of the First Amendment auditors.
So it sounds like someone in Scientology was pushing that narrative because they just looked at that one ordinance, did not dig deeper or look at everything, and was just trying to use that one part to manipulate the police officer who wasn't familiar into believing that that was a fact.
And the pattern with Scientology is they don't keep up. Their tactics are the same as what they've used for how many decades now?
Exactly.
They don't keep up with what's happening today.
That is very true. Very true. I'm so glad that you were there and you guys were having the conversation, and with your background in law enforcement, and it just worked out perfectly. I love when that comes together. And you're over there, in Florida, and they're over there in Chicago, but it goes to show the power and the impact that everybody can have from their own home.
Exactly.
You can be comfortable where you are in helping to, whether it's researching in a city, if you see something happening in real time. I know I feel like, not just when Tony and I were protesting here in Chicago, but at other times with our moderators if you watch any spy movie, there's like people out doing stuff, but then there's always the person in the van who's coordinating everything. And I feel like the moderators do an amazing job at that, and will often kind of tap in trying to reach somebody else who might be able to help in a situation.
Well, and too, I'm very proud of Freezing Project because he was a great mouthpiece during all of this. And he was, he lives an hour and a half away, and he had to go back home for work. So he was able to, for lack of a better word, pass the knowledge on to those who are still going to be there on a daily basis.
Yes, absolutely. It's so perfect to share that and for people to know. And again, if wherever you are, look in your city, find out what the ordinances are, find out ahead of time so you're ready and prepared. And when you're questioned on it, or someone doesn't know the law or the rules that you do know, that's only going to help.
Right.
Well, Lori, you're a doll. Thank you so much. I look forward to following more of your videos in Clearwater. And I'm going to have you pop out. Then we're going to share your clip from the Nona Boss Audits. That's a podcast that you went on, right?
Yes, but before I go, I want to tell you, ma'am, that I am so proud of you, because it had to be way out of your comfort zone to leave your home, travel to Chicago, and protest the very organization that you escaped from. So huge kudos to you for making the commitment to get out there and go. Good for you, girl.
I appreciate that. We're going to do a live on the way home. I'm going to do a live stream and get more into that. It was definitely cathartic. I'll be honest though, it was hell on my body, but that's because I have some other health conditions that are good. I'm good, but it being on my feet for any length of time, and even just holding the selfie stick, and then you add to it the whole at the time, like, I felt great, like, mentally, I felt great,
Mhm.
but my body's just been giving me hell.
No.
But I tend to have these delayed reactions, so prepare for it on the drive home, my friends.
Yeah, we're here for you.
I appreciate that so much,
Have a good
Lori.
day.
Talk to you later.
You too. Bye.
She's so great. Clearwater is where you can catch her auditing Scientology, protesting. She has great conversations sometimes too with Scientologists, and has the best. Her and Farrell Cheryl have these amazing squirrel suits as well, which I really like. I really like. So let's take a little look at a podcast that Lori Plays went on yesterday, The Nona Boss. We're just going to look at a little bit, and there's a link down below because you should watch the whole thing. Give this a little look and listen.
Aaron got super excited and stoked about what he was seeing going on in Los Angeles. He called up a few of us, texted us and said, hey, what do y'all think about going to Clearwater and doing some First Amendment auditing? I'm like, my mom passed away in 2018. I'm good. Count me in. So I've been going pretty regularly ever since. And I see no reason to back down. I'm there at least 3 days a week, sometimes 4. That's a 45-minute drive for me if traffic is friendly. So it's a time commitment. But man, I'm having a blast. I go home and I'm like super excited. And sometimes like after Friday night, man, I was super emotional.
Yeah, Friday night. I watched your live Friday night. That was a very emotional situation for sure.
Well, that's pretty much my story. Aaron got super excited and stoked about what he was seeing going on in Los Angeles.
So she talks about too kind of how she got started with the protesting, and it's just a great interview. So definitely check that out. Now, more Scientology lies. We have talked here on the channel a ton. And before I forget, everybody go hit that like button. We're going to get out more notifications. You can do it. You just click like, check your subscribe button. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Make sure you do that. So Perth, Australia. Okay, we've talked about how many times the front groups for Scientology are very known. They put them on their website. If you go to Scientology.org, it shows you all their front groups. The Foundation for a Drug-Free World is located in the Hollywood Guarantee Building, the building where Scientology management is, where you see the protesters going to look for the buses, and you see all the Sea Organization members leaving. When you look online on Google Maps for where is the Foundation for a Drug-Free World, it's in there, and it's run by not just Scientologists, it's run by Sea Org members. Okay? So the front groups then are often their Scientologists out in the field, in the area. We know this to be true. There's no questioning whether or not the Foundation for a Drug-Free World is Scientology or not. That's why when I saw this, I'm like, lady, catch up. We have the internet now. We can see where things are located, and we know, and we have enough Scientologists like myself. I volunteered with the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. It is absolutely Scientology every day, all day. I think you get the point there, but let's go take a look. This is in Perth, Australia. I love this. Thank you so much to the people who did this. There's a link down below to their full video. Check it out. They sound like a lot of fun too. And keep in mind what I just told you. Take a little look and a listen here.
Because this is not a Scientology event.
Well, it is a Scientology event.
No, it's not.
Well, it is because it's a front group for Scientology.
No, we are hosting an event, which is a drug-free world.
Drug-free world, which is owned by Scientology.
No, it's not.
Yes,
So
it
why are you
is.
concerned about us being here if you're not Scientology? Because I am a Scientologist. I have been one for 55 years. It does not destroy.
Oh, hi, how are you?
I'm going to call the police.
That's
we
fine.
are holding this event. We're able to.
That's fine.
So I'd like you guys to leave the property.
I'm not on the property.
This is our property.
What? So you own all the way up to here? Because I'm pretty sure this.
Anyway, we're not here to argue.
I'm not here to argue as well.
You've made your point.
What? And what's my point?
Well, I don't know what your point is. You're saying Scientology destroys families.
Well, it
I'm telling
does.
you, Scientology saved my family.
Well, that's not true because my very good friend.
Remove yourself because.
So she goes on to share a story of her friend and how there was a family ruined by Scientology. anyone in Scientology for any length of time knows this, but here's the thing. Scientologists, one, do not know that they're in a cult. Most of them don't. They don't understand that because the behavior in Scientology, the restrictions, the control, the punishments have been very normalized. So you don't see it as being abusive. You don't see it as being culty because it's been so normalized, especially if you grew up in Scientology. I've been out for 13 years and there's still stuff that I realize, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That's right. And that's not normal, whatever it was. Multiple things all the time, especially now since I've been on YouTube and talking about it so much more. There's things you just don't think about that then start coming up and you realize you normalized it. You didn't even label that as being culty behavior. It's really interesting to experience that. And having Scientologists, they're doing a Foundation for a Drug-Free World event. It's completely Scientology. The Office of Special Affairs, their director of special affairs there is going to get points for any positive press that they get based on this event. So why does Scientology track it if they've got nothing to do with it? Why are their headquarters in the main Scientology management building in Hollywood if it's got nothing to do with Scientology? It's just one of many more lies about this. It's right on your website, Scientology. There's no way this lady doesn't know. Maybe she doesn't know it's on the website, but there's no way that people know. It's obvious. Anyone can find out and find it. Hey, Liz Ferris. Always good to see you. It's just so obvious. And what do we see, right? A lot of what we went over today, it's just lie after lie after lie. And they're just being caught on video. Hollywood Aja shared the video of the guy with the scooter, making it look like Danny, he accused him, I think, of trying to steal it. It's ridiculous. Literally, Michael backed up that this guy has been around lurking with that scooter before. I mean, it's just crazy. We got on video now as Seattle Church of Scientology staff member flipping around a knife to intimidate a protester. I mean, it's just all over the place. And Scientologists themselves saying, no, this is not Scientology. It is. It is. In Scientology, I'll give you some insider scoop here. They tell you it's okay to lie to the public in general. It's called a shore story. That's what L. Ron Hubbard calls it, because he used to be on a ship and they'd go to shore and they couldn't say what they were really doing on that ship. So they were given things to say to people. They called them acceptable truths and shore stories. And that's what they would tell people what was going on. It's no different, even though there's just a free wind ship. Now Scientology is run out of these different organizations. They're doing the same thing. They come up with a shore story. They move into an area, and that's what they're going to tell people. They're there handing out donuts to students and stuff in Chicago. And then they turn around and steal my donuts. Sorry, I can't keep a straight face when I say that. I am bugged by it, though. Of all the things, my brain sticks on that one. Took my donuts. Don't get between me and my sugar. I think that's the thing. And thank you again to the kind person who did that. All right, here's what we're going to be doing. I've got a few interviews lined up this week that I'm really excited about. So you want to hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell, which sometimes works, I hear. And then you can get notifications for these upcoming interviews that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to talk some more with Shannon, who I had the pleasure of meeting in Chicago. And I'm going to sit down with Dylan Gill, Blow Drill. We've got some really interesting things to talk about. Really getting into the weeds a little bit about what it's like to be in the Sea organization, what a day looked like for a Sea Org member. And it differs for people. But Dylan was like at the top of where you could be in Scientology in estates. And I was at the complete bottom. So I thought this will be a great conversation. And he is just a wealth of knowledge. So I'm looking forward to that. So you want to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and make sure your notification bell is set so you do not miss that. You can always catch it on the replay as well. And when you're catching things on the replay, I want to hear from you. Let me know where you're watching from, what your questions and thoughts are. And because it's all very helpful. Very helpful. Just because you aren't here live or in the live chat, you still should be commenting. I try to get in there and answer questions. I can't always get to all of them, but I want to. And I try to read as many as I can because I think it's so important. You guys take the time to watch the videos, right? To learn what's happening, to spread the word. And I just want to answer as much as I can for questions and things like that. And I truly appreciate everyone who emails me, Natalie@lifeafteraccult.com. When you send me links with timestamps, it's super helpful, or the clip itself, or an article. Tell me your thoughts on it too. What are you seeing? Because I've had this happen where someone sends me something, and at first I don't get it. And I'm like, well, what am I looking at? And them saying, well, it's this, this, this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even looking at, because my cult brain, sometimes I have to get through a little bit of the culty thinking of why this isn't weird or why this isn't okay. Not all the time. Most of the time I get it, but sometimes. So this is all so incredibly therapeutic for me. We're going to get more into what happened while we were here in Chicago when we do a live stream later on, when we kind of get, I don't know when we're going to do it. We'll see how it goes. And I'll tell you guys that I'm going to share some things I've not told you that happened since we've been here, but I'm going to do that on the live stream because I want to get through this and not lose my crap. So thank you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you for your helps, your links, your being here, your support. We're doing this. There are more people than ever talking about Scientology, and that it's a cult, that it's a human trafficking cult, that message is getting out. And we have a younger generation of people. That's one thing that hit me so hard. I thought it before I came, but seeing it in action, meeting these kids who are going to college next door to Scientology and what they think about it and what they plan. It just was it was just so eye-opening. I appreciated it so much. I'm just realizing that I missed a bunch of questions. So I apologize for that. I will ask them again when I'm on again. Maybe we'll do it in the car, or we'll go ahead and do it at my next wrap up too. Oh, hey, the Nona Boss Audits and Investigations. Great to see you here. I got to say this, and maybe you agree. We should chat because I love all the grandmas that are getting involved. I'm a grandma. There's just these different, Miss Kim over in Austin. I think it's fascinating. And then you've got these, you've got multiple generations working together, from Gen Z to the millennials, Gen X, and boomers as well. And a host of people so many who aren't protesting live, but they're at home and they're helping and they're sharing information and they're doing research. It's just such a beautiful thing. And I appreciate all of you so, so, so much, more than I think you will ever know. So thank you for being here. Watch for us from the car later today. We'll do a live stream. In the meantime, I hope you guys all get outside, get out there, and have an amazing cult-free day.